Good morning, everybody. Mike Vacchi, PrincetonTrader.com, here for NTMarkets.com with your Wednesday morning pre-market webcast. Okay, daily chart on the E-mini, and we're seeing, we've had this slow walk up, and now we're seeing a little bit of a pullback. We're below the 9-day simple moving average there, which is the blue line. You can see on this 15-minute chart that we are below the weekly pivot. Weekly pivot is 2107.70 on our stuff, and you can see that it has broken below. There we go. We had an outstanding fail in the regular session yesterday at the daily pivot, 2175. Came down, broke below our proprietary lower level, retested our proprietary lower level here, and then gave us a nice secondary short down to what at that time was weekly pivot support. And that yielded an excellent bounce up into the Apple debacle, and I think it's safe to call it a debacle, up at 15.5. At that point, we sold down. We hovered at the weekly pivot in the after hours session, but once we got below it, with the exception of a couple attempts at 2108 in the early morning hours, after Europe had opened up, this area has now gone resistance. I'm expecting a test of the weekly pivot in the regular session. The result of that test is going to have a lot to do with how the day goes and how the rest of this week goes. If weekly pivot is confirmed as resistance, that opens up a move down to the middle band on the daily chart, which is coming in around the 2085 area. Okay. If we can get back over the weekly pivot and get a bounce going, which is not unprecedented in a market that loves to bounce off of negative news, then I will be watching today's daily pivot very carefully at basically 2113. Recall that 2113 heading back into last week had been support and support. Here and here, okay? If the daily pivot here goes resistance, it's not just the daily pivot going resistance, it's this prior area that was tested and failed again yesterday, broke through, tested, couldn't get over. If we take a trip back to 13 and we can't get through, then you're starting to see, instead of the floors that we have been building last week, you're starting to see a continuation of the dynamic of the failure up at 2223. Remember, we had this big area here, 2223 area, couldn't get through. 1650 was a big area on my stuff to break down below, right in this area here. Then 13 was sealed yesterday. Now that got called into a little bit of doubt yesterday on the bounce into the close, but if that's reestablished as resistance, and on a second time back through the weekly pivot, that goes resistance again, then that also is a road to the middle band. So if you're the bulls, you need to get back over the weekly pivot and hold it. You got to get back over daily pivot and hold it. Hold the 13, get back up into the 16s. If you can do all that, then you might be able to muster a bounce. That's a big ask for the bulls after all the energy that it's taken to get from the 30s up to 2126. I mean, effectively a 90 handle rally. Okay, so we're pulling back a little bit. That's to be expected. See it for what it is and don't fight it. A lot of people fought the short on the way up. Don't fight. People were fighting the longs on the way up. Don't fight the shorts on the way down if these big areas want to be resistance. It's not a good way to spend your day. It's not a good way to treat your account. Okay, Everybody have a fantastic day. Follow us on Twitter at Princeton Trader. Check out the website, PrincetonTrader.com. Come check out the chat room. I'll be back tomorrow morning with another webcast. I want to mention our two contributors here, Stan DeBosny and Spring Hill Jack, on their new blog, theartofchart.net, are going to be doing a free chart chat session. These are the same types of sessions that they do for our members during the week. They're doing one for everybody this Sunday. Check out channelsandpatterns.com. Check out artofchart.net and get information on that. I'll have that out on the Twitter feed. It's that is a really good chance to see two excellent chartists and technicians talk about charts. It's nice to see them work, and I'm glad that they are doing so well and are going to do a webinar for everybody this Sunday. So check that out. Okay, I will catch everybody tomorrow morning with another webcast. Trade them well, everybody.